Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2023, SB 198, first reading.
Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2023, SB 198, first reading taken. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of distinguished Senator Buba Umar Shehu on the Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2023, SB 199. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal Medical Center Act Amendment Bill 2023, SB 199, first reading.
Federal Medical Center Amendment Bill, SB 2023, Bill 2023, SB 199.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the sixth on the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation, and Fiscal Commission Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023, SB 202. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
The Clerk of the Senate.
Commission Act, Repeal and Reenactment.
Allocation and Fiscal Commission Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2023, SB 202, first reading taken. The Leader of the Senate.
Order of the day is the second reading of the Cybercrime Prohibition and Prevention Act 2015, Amendment Bill 2023, SB 188. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was read for the first time in this chamber on Wednesday, 18th October 2023. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Buba Umar Shehu to move the motion for the bill to be read a second time.
Senator Buba Umar Shehu, you may wish to move your motion. Order. Senator Binosiaro, what order?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Binosiaro, Adamawa South. I'm rising on Order 76, 76, and 77. Notice of presentation of government bills shall be given by publication of the provisions proposed to be embodied in such bill in an issue of the official gazette or National Assembly Journal, of which a copy shall have been sent to every senator. 77, subsection order earlier in the life of this Senate when bills were listed for first reading. And I was ruled out of order, even though our rules are very clear. I was informed that bills can only be circulated on second reading. Now, we are having second reading, and I have not seen a copy of the bill. That's my point of order. Thank you.
Well, the sponsor of the bill has agreed that we should step it down to the next legislative day so that senators will be able to have the copies and they can peruse through before we deal with the bill. Well, I know Senator Binos Yaro has been on these he has been vocal on this issue, even in the ninth Senate, and we thank you for re-emphasizing the need to abide by these two orders in our rules. So thank you very much. Your point of order is sustained. Leader, you might wish to move a motion to take Leader of the Senate. We'll step it down, move that the motion be stepped down till another legislative day. The bill be stepped down. The bill be stepped down.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I stand to move that cyberspace prohibition and prevention, I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I hereby second the motion that the item be stepped down because of the observation made. I so second.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the second time.
You may wish to read the second motion, your bill. Then have you circulated the... but since nobody has moved, you can continue. Nobody has complained.
My name is Karimi Sunday.
Read the order.
Controversial matter may be brought forward, edited to the President of the Senate when it's leave to make it is sought.
But you have not submitted, you have not even informed me about what you want to say, not to talk about submitting the statement to me. You have not done so. But anyway, I would like to do that to present what you want to present, but next time I won't allow you to do so. You can move on.
Thank you, Mrs. President, sir. I have a situation that is similar to the first order that was put off just now. I brought a bill to amend the CBN, which was read for the first time, even before this bill that we're going to do second reading now. And there is a similar amendment we are seeking in one or two of the areas we are trying to amend in that bill. So I think there's a need
at any stage of the processing. So I don't think there's any problem. You can amend, you can add, you can subtract, you can do whatever you want to do. You can propose that. And once the view of the Senate that what you are talking about should be part of the bill, that can be done. What you say you have a bill? Have you? Is the first? It was there for the first time. Oh, okay. Then it will be consolidated. It will be consolidated. It should be consolidated. If it has been read for the first time, well, that is the Rules and Business Committee perhaps consolidate it. You can because. Can you? Senator Najmogoji.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Njuma Goje, representing Gombe Central, Gombe State. I think we can still go ahead and read this bill for a second time, after which, during the public hearing, they can...
What order are you coming under? No, I gave him that chance. I will not give any other person any other chance to, if you have, is it to do with this? Okay.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Abba Moro. I think that what we should be talking about, rather than the similarity of the bills, is the fact that we are just taking a step down a bill on account of inadequacy of information to colleagues. And if we didn't give sufficient notice in that case, and the Senate resolved that it should be stepped down for the next legislative day, and then we have a similar situation on our hands here, because these gazettes were brought to us at the same time. If that is the case, then this matter also should be stepped down to allow, because it's a sensitive matter. We're talking about amending the central bank bill here. And so I think we need time to study this in and make proper input and get a proper correction and get it right, at least for the first time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. President, and distinguished colleagues. I think the bottom line here is that we should clear these things so that moving forward, we'll do the right thing. You have ruled on the first one, and the second matter is different. And the Senate, if so wish to continue with it, there's nothing wrong with it. But it is not in the rule that even though two bills are similar, they must be taken at the same time. It is only after the second reading that you ask to consolidate. When you consolidate the two bills, then you take it at the end of it. Having said that, Mr. President, I want you to also empower the Senate leader. All these things would have been sorted out if all members have the documents to be considered during today's sitting. All this, the order paper, the lead debate of every senator, is done in a soft copy. Immediately you do it, before you come and distribute the hard copy, members can have the copies in their email or through WhatsApp so that they can prepare for it. And when the hard copy is made available, it will not be a new document. I think I discussed with the leader, the best thing is to have these documents emailed or sent on the WhatsApp a night before our sitting so that members can be prepared. But this idea of distributing papers in the chamber is not working at all for us. Thank you.
Senator Sani Musa, before we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I think what the earlier speakers have said, that's Abba Moro, and what the whip is saying, I concur with it. But I believe that if the similarities of these bills are there, they should be allowed to be read on the same day, and then you consolidate them the same day, so that by the time they are going for the third reading, that's the public hearing, they will all come together. So I think if we do that, we'll solve all these problems.
Thank you very much. Senator Darlington, you've heard the views of distinguished senators. So I think we'll do the same thing just as what was done in the case of the bill sponsored by Senator Buba. What is good for the goose is also good for the gander. You want to say, okay, leader.
Well, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Michael Okweyemi Bamidele, representing the Ekiti Central. Mr. President, I totally agree that this bill could be stood down to another legislative day for the same reason that we took a similar position earlier. However, there is a trend of the discussion that I think we need to be careful about. The view that when two bills are similar, they must be read on the same day. For the purpose of consolidating them, I disagree with that. You know, that's just, regardless of.
Yes. So, leader, your observation totally taken.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I like to second the motion as believed by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Point of order. What order? Order
42. Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent the decent and good people of Kwara North. My point of order is order 42. Can I read, Mr. President? Can I read? Yeah. Thank you. By the indulgence of the Senate, the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there have been no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave is meant to be sought.
before you say anything, the last part of that rule clearly states that you need to have consulted me, and then you should have submitted your statement in detail, but that has not been taken into account. So, but I'll allow you, but I think this should come to an end. Anybody who has anything to raise under this order should please do so before the commencement of the day sitting. So let this be the end of this kind of thing. So you may make your statement.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that concession. I appreciate. My personal explanation is very simple. It's still a continuation of what we've been debating. People have said that we need to follow our rules, and I'm happy to see that we follow our rules and make sure that we bring out bills, that have gone through proper processes. However, I think we need to find a way of sitting back, whether in the Rules and Business Committee or in closed section, to review what we are really doing, because this is October ending. We've been working here for 5 months. I'm not even sure any bill that we are processing in this chamber yet. We need to be careful because the year can be rolling. We'll end up 1 year and will not produce anything, which is our primary assignment here, to make laws for good governance of this country. So we need to review this so that we don't keep on going back and forth on production of bills in this chamber. Thank you.
Your observation is noted. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the third order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Binos Dauda Yaro and 15 others on the urgent need to address the recurring issue of flood-induced damages caused by the willful release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, the need for a permanent solution to the problem and restitution of the communities ravaged by the phenomenon. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Binos Dauda Yaro to move the motion.
Senator Bino Yaro, you may wish to move your motion.
It's on the order paper. Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Binos Dauda Yaro. I represent Adamawa South. This motion is co-sponsored, as indicated by the leader, by actually 16 other senators. The 16th senator is Senator Mohammed Anao of Nasarawa South. The motion is on the urgent need to address the recurring issue of flood-induced damages caused by the willful release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, the need for a permanent solution to the problem and restitution for the communities ravaged by the phenomenon. The Senate recalls the recent announcement by the Director General of National Emergency Management Agency that recent release of water by Lagdo Dam in Cameroon will cause more flood disaster downstream the Benue River, which will affect 8 states, that is Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Kogi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, and Bayelsa states. The Senate notes that a large portion of the land mass of Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, and Kogi states lie within the River Benue trough, which is flooded every rainy season, occasioned by natural runoff and discharge mainly from Lagdo Dam. Notes further that the communities living in the aforementioned river basin, River Benue plains, engage in the cultivation of different crops, both in the wet and dry seasons. The Senate concerned that the frequency and intensity of hydrological hazard, such as flood, has been experienced annually from unregulated releases, most especially from Lagdo Dam, will continue to cause various forms of catastrophic outcomes unless a lasting solution is implemented. Concerned that the discharge of water from Lagdo Dam, whenever it reaches its critical level, often brings about the overflowing of the banks of River Benue, inundating floodplains downstream the dam, thereby causing great destruction to farmlands, infrastructure, and even often resulting in loss of lives. The Senate knows that the major reason adducible to this malaise is the low channel capacity of River Benue that will allow it hold large volume water due to the high degree of siltation of the river. Aware that the incessant flooding negates the efforts of thousands of farming population in crop production in the Benue Trough, especially the dry season farms located in the floodplains such as Adamawa State Government Dam Irrigation Scheme in Demsa local government, knows that the aforementioned problems will have been ameliorated if the River Benue was dredged and appropriate receptors to buffer dams in the upper Benue region of Nigeria were constructed, into which the unregulated discharge from Lagdo Dam could be channeled and thereafter released gradually in order to minimize the flooding of the downstream communities. The Senate knows also that the areas of severe risk of flooding consequent upon the release from Lagdo Dam and the natural surface runoff are the riverine local governments in Adamawa, Taraba, Benue, Nasarawa, Kogi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, Rivers, and Bayelsa states. Recalls that in 2012, 2015, 2018, 2019, 2022, and this year, high incidences of flood along the River Benue Trough, all the way to Bayelsa State, severely affected the communities in the states listed above. And this year, torrential rains and releases of water from Lagdo Dam has severely flooded and submerged many communities and farmlands, rendering many families homeless and helpless. Concerned that on September 12, 2023, the federal government, through the National Flood Early Warning System, issued a flood alert that some parts of the country may witness heavy rainfalls, resulting in the rise of the water levels of River Benue and Niger, which may lead to flooding, and regrets that when Lagdo Dam in Cameroon was to be constructed in the 1980s, it was agreed that Nigeria will construct a buffer dam in Dasin Hausa in Fufore local government of Adamawa State to serve as a buffer dam to contain spills from Lagdo Dam. But regrettably, to date, the Dasin Hausa Dam has not been constructed. Accordingly, Senate resolves to 1, urge the federal government to revisit the Dasin Hausa Dam project with a view to commencing or resuming the construction of the dam by making budgetary provisions starting with the 2024 federal budget. 2, urge the federal government to intervene through the Ecological Fund Office to construct some of the flood prevention structures, such as dikes, embankments, levees, and flood measuring devices at key points along the River Benue in order to protect farmlands, infrastructure, and downstream communities in the Benue Trough. 3, call on the federal government through the Inland Waterways Authority to dredge the River Benue from Makurdi all the way to Lagdo Dam in cooperation with the Republic of Cameroon. 4, explore through the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and relevant authorities and call on the National Emergency Management Authority in consultation with the state governments listed to urgently carry out a comprehensive assessment of communities affected by flooding with a view to providing them with relief materials. I so move.
Seconder, Senator Mohammed Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Muhammad Adam Aliru. I rise to second this motion, ably moved by my good friend, Senator Bin Nasiru. In seconding it, Mr. President, I wish to say that
this has been a perennial happening. Almost every year, whenever a Labdo Dam releases water, it follows into Nigeria and causes great devastation. Farmlands are submerged, houses are also submerged, even animals are being killed. And all along, suggestions have been made on how to ameliorate this situation. The construction of this Kasim Dam, Kasim Hausa Dam, has been suggested by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources as far back as 1999, when President Obasanjo was in power. And we don't know what happened. Every year, they keep on postponing the construction of this dam. Unless this dam is constructed, there will be no solution to the perennial flooding as a result of release of water from this dam from Cameroon. It has caused a lot of damage to our farmlands, and it's even threatening food security in this country. It's affecting virtually about 7 states. And all these states are known for rice production, maize production, millet, and what have you. And it is now time for us to take decision to construct this dam as suggested or as recommended in this motion. This will go a long way in solving the problem of perennial flooding. So, Mr. President, I second this motion, and I support all the prayers associated with it, because it will certainly bring lasting solution to the perennial flooding. Thank you very much.
Yes, Senator Mohammed Enjuma Goje, then after you, Senator Abbas, will have the chance to make their contributions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Enjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central. Mr. President, I stand to fully support this motion. But in supporting this motion, I want to say, in addition to those states listed, my state, Gombe State, is also equally affected. Just last week, I had to go to Gombe. Hundreds of communities along Gongole River. Gongole River is a tributary to Benue River, have been flooded. And this has been happening year in, year out. When Benue River is flooded, it does not allow the water from Gongola to go into the river, and therefore the water stops there and then washes away a lot of communities. Mr. President, this motion is apt, and I think in addition to the emphasis we are putting on the construction of the dam, the final solution is to dredge River Benue. I know some years back, during Yaradua administration, there was concrete step taken, including budgetary allocation for the dredging of rivers Niger and Benue. Somewhere along the line, this issue has been forgotten. I want to urge my colleagues to collaborate with the federal government to restate this issue so as to give final solution to this problem. Many states are affected. I'm sure beside my own, there will be other senators who may also say they are also affected. Not only the states along the river, but those near those close to the river are also affected. The same thing with Benue River Niger. So I think, Mr. President, we may not be able to dredge it overnight, but at least we should take steps to actualize this dredging by providing. I want Mr. President to hear this. Mr. President, you were in the appropriation committee before. I'm sure attempts were made to do that. I call on this Senate, which is Saying it was, what do you call it, difference or uncommon, whatever you say. Do something about this dredging. Put reasonable amount of money, even if it means for the design or consultancy. Let us take the right step to give a final solution to this problem. That is in addition to the construction of the dam in Fufura local government. With this comment, Mr. President, I fully support this motion. I support all the prayers, maybe in addition to other additional prayers that may be brought. So,
Senator Abbas, then Senator Ayola. Abbas, Senator Abbas. Senator Abbas, Aminu.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, distinguished senators. Mr. President, this bill is not only timing. It's not only timely. This bill is supposed to have come long time ago. Mr. President, I want to draw the attention of my colleagues that the River Benue flows across 7 local governments of Adamawa State. From Yola South, from Fufore, Yola South, to Yola North, to Demsa, to Numan, Gire, and Lamore. 4 of those local governments are within my own central district, Mr. President. And according to NEMA, 2.4 million people and, were affected, and 600 fatalities over the period of time. Mr. President, only in August this year, we have 53 people lost their lives. To the extent that the president of the country directed that investigation to be carried out and find out why these things have been happening. Nothing more than dredging of the Benue as well as the Asiansa Dam that will stop all these fatalities. Mr. President, it's a serious issue, and I support this motion, and I pray and beg my colleagues to support this motion, because it's not only Adamawa that is affected, as mentioned by the mover of the motion, across the states, about 4 or 5 states of the country. Well, up to Bayelsa. It affects up to Bayelsa. So, Mr. President, thank you very much for giving me time, and I hope and wish my colleagues will support this motion to enable us have something tangible in 2024 budget, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Solomon Adiola, after you, Senator Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President, very distinguished colleague. Mr. President, let me start by thanking the mover of this motion, Senator Binos, because this problem is affecting so many states. In my own state, Ogun State, I know the Sherry, Magburu, and the Kara market axis of that state is heavily flooded as we speak. Heavily flooded. The governor was there yesterday to see the communities and also to sympathize with them, because billions of nairas of properties are in serious dangers in this community I've mentioned. And Mr. President, if dredging of this river, River Niger, River Benue, and all of this will be a permanent solution for all of this, it is better we start it now. We might not finish it in 1 year. We can spread it across 4 years and make provision for this dredging in the budget. And for a known fact, I listened to the mover of the motion. I could observe that he never mentioned agencies like Ministry of Environment or the Ecological Fund Office. These are 2 critical offices that should be involved in this, because the funding of dredging of this river and domicile in those 2 major agencies of the government. And I believe that the chairman, Senate Committee on Environment, should at least invite them. Let us know, over the years, appropriations that have been made for dredging of this river, how effectively have they put it into use? Because the opening of this dam cannot stop. They need to open the dam so that there will not be overflow. So for it not to overflow, they need to open it so that this water can go. And the aftermath effect of this is serious on our people. And I strongly believe that we should not only support this motion, but to be more proactive so that we can solve this problem once and for all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Dixon. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my dear distinguished colleagues. Henry Sirake Dixon, Bayelsa West. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion, but beyond that, I'm also one of the co-sponsors of this motion. As a matter of fact, I raised this issue with the Senate President on the same day my colleague also raised a point of order. And we decided, therefore, to jointly sponsor this motion. Mr. President, as someone from Bayelsa, and specifically someone who over the years has been involved in the affairs of managing that state, particularly in crisis moments like flooding, disaster, and other ecological mishaps, I need to say something to share our terrible experiences, because I know my colleagues have talked about the effect in the Benue Trial, and even beyond that, through the River Gongola, which is a tributary, as has been rightly said. It spreads even beyond the states that are immediately contiguous to Benue. It even goes as far as the states in the northwest, like what we witnessed last year. Jigawa was particularly affected last year, and a number of other states. The way the water moves is that if it comes in through the Lagdo Dam, gets into Adamawa, and then comes to the Benue Trough, through Gongola, spreads around and other tributaries to the northwest, and then it flows downwards to Lokoja, which is the confluence point of the two major rivers. And then, for us at the base of the country, all the water that enters this country, from what we are complaining about in Adamawa, or through River Gongola, or the one that spreads to the northwest, all of these waters passes through the state of Bayelsa. Because it is from there the water empties itself into the Atlantic Ocean. There's no other point. So, the parts of river states that are contiguous to Bayelsa, Ahoda West, Ahoda, my colleague is there, all flooded. The parts of Delta State, contiguous, all flooded. Because when it gets to Bayelsa, from Anambra, the whole of Anambra, that area, that Idemili axis and all the local governments in that place are completely submerged once there's major flooding. Then it enters Bayelsa, and the entire state, the entirety of a state, I mean, we're not just talking of one local government or one senatorial district or one community. In the case of Bayelsa, so this incident of any time water is released from Lagdo, once that announcement comes, or at periods like this, it's a major panic in the whole of Bayelsa. Because of the geographical location, which is no fault of our people, and the entire state is below sea level. The entire state is below sea level. There's no part that is upland, no part that is riverine. The entire state is below sea level. So once it comes like this, all our communities, farmlands, everywhere is flooded. And we have to evacuate people, and ask me, where do you evacuate people and where do you take them to if the whole state is flooded? So it's a major, major calamity. This was one of the terrible incidents
that opened my eyes 2012, just when I had assumed my service as governor. And it has continued. Last year alone, the flooding, the damage that this flood caused in this country to our infrastructure alone was estimated by agencies of the World Bank, not even by us. I read the report because I've been following up these things on the environment. And it came to over $7.5 billion, $0.5 billion worth of damage. We're not talking of the loss of lives. So, and by virtue of their location in this country, it may be like a one-in-a-off situation. But for us, it's something we live with on an annual basis.
Thank you.
Beyond calling for construction of just one dam, that dam, the dam in that Adamawa axis, is a wonderful, wonderful initiative. But I think that this motion, we shouldn't be talking specifically about one dam. There is need for the major tributaries through which water empties into the Atlantic Ocean to be continually dredged. Like the river, when you get to Onitsha now, you get to Bayelsa, you meet River Focados, and then the River Non. There was an attempt during the Yaradua administration to do some dredging. But that has to be a continuous annual exercise to clear the debris. Because those waters are always, the basin is always, they leave a lot of deposit when this flood goes. So it's filtered, what? Filtered, yeah, desilting. So we need to do a lot of that. So my suggestion, Mr. President, my dear colleagues, because of the seriousness of this motion and the fact that it involves a lot of agencies and ministries of government. For example, the Ministry of Water Resources must be at the fore if you are talking of dam construction and so on. I will suggest that we should set up another committee.
Senator Dixon, you have 1 minute remaining.
1 minute is to suggest that we set up a joint committee of water resources, works, agri, special duties, environment and ecology, and then foreign affairs.
Therefore, when we come to the prayers.
Not for us to be prescriptive, not at this point. Let them meet together and say, where and which dams can we take? What is the result of the scientific study that they have, which we now don't have? So let us get all the experts together and then interact, and then we'll now begin to do something. Thank you very much.
We don't have much. Thank you very much for your contribution. We have no, we have faced with time constraints. I am Senator Plang. Then thereafter, then we take someone from this side. 2 minutes.
Yes, sir. President of the Senate, my colleagues, I am Senator Dicket Plang, representing Plateau Central Senatorial District. Mr. President and my colleagues, very sincerely, this issue is an issue of great concern to us all. I stand and support all the suggestions made by my colleagues, but I would like to add one thing, sir. You tend to think that those of you at the lower part of the country are those that are affected by this. I want to tell us that even those of us at the higher part of the country are affected by the flood. Plateau, where I come from, is about 1,200 meters above sea level. And therefore, it has become a source of water to the remaining lower parts of the country. When the lower parts of the, when waters at the lower part of this country are blocked, waters from tributaries coming from the upper part are blocked, and it becomes a flood. I want to cite an example like in Kanam, Wase and Shandam, that are the lower part of Plateau. Whenever this flood takes place around around Bauchi, Gombe, and so on, it affects the flow of our tributaries and therefore causing flood. I also want to think that water, we should be able to look at the importance of water. If instead of just drainages, can't we technologically think of creating some sort of dams that will reserve this annual flood from Lagdo, that at the end of the day, the water could be used for agricultural purposes. Instead of just chasing the water to go out, why can't we bring an innovation of creating some dams that can keep this water within us for some time, that the water can, at the end of the day, be used economically? I want to suggest that too. Thank you.
Senator Ekong, then 2 minutes, Senator Fada Honsi will be the last to contribute, then we move to the prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. My dear colleagues, my name is Ekong Samson. I speak for Akwa Ibom South. I want to thank Mr. President for this recognition. I commend my colleagues for the concerns raised over this issue. I want to make it clear that Akwa Ibom State features majorly amongst the states that have been affected by the rage of the elements as it were. We had a nice time in Ikonegbene a few days ago. If we went further, we would have come face to face with the ravages, with the menace of erosion and flood in Akwa Ibom State. What I would like to suggest, Mr. President, I served for some time as Commissioner for Environment. I think we need to take the issue of flooding very, very seriously. I came up with a mantra at that time called the health of the earth. We seem to pay a lot of attention to works. We tend sometimes to neglect that without the environment, we can't have works effectively. So it is critical that we pay attention to our environment. This motion has been well framed. The issue has been well canvassed. In Akwa Ibom State, we are under attack from flood. And I think it is important that that be noted so that we can address the issue centrally. We have an area called IBB Avenue in Uyo. The state government intervened, and that was quite timely. But beyond that, if you go further, truly, Akwa Ibom State is under pressure from flood. We have the longest coastline in this country. Of course, we know where we are located. Our location exposes us critically to the ravages of flood and erosion. So it becomes very important that Akwa Ibom State be noted among the states.
Thank you, thank you. Your time is off. Thank you. Senator Fadahunsi, then Abamoro, Senator Amaru, you've been requested to speak. Maybe you have something very, very important to tell us as a co-sponsor. We give you 1 minute after Senator Fadahunsi.
Mr. President, my name is Senator Adenigba Fadahunsi, representing the good people of Osun East. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, it's always very important that we should know that year in, year out, we lament on flood here, flood there, but no solution. The people prepared our annual budget. It's as if maybe it's deliberate or not. They forget that we are having these problems that almost washed away all our infrastructure, so that the Minister of Works can have a lot of annual work to do. Minister of Environment can have their own work to do. But the problem is we need the solution. The solution is already here. They prepare the budget, even if they forget that there are some dams they should construct. And when the budget gets here, we have the appropriation, we are all the committee chairmen and members. We should be able to insist that this thing should be done. This year, 2024, we are expecting a budget of almost 27 trillion. Why don't we put this thing, these dams, to curtail this problem once and for all, instead of repairing every road in Lagos, every road in Adamawa and so on. I don't think we continue to lament this year again, after this year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you for, staying within the time given to you. I'm sure Senator Abamoro will also abide by the time given to him for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Abamoro. I represent the good people of Benue South Senatorial District. And I want to state here, Mr. President, that everybody in Nigeria knows that when it comes to flooding, Benue State is usually most affected. But I want to say that on this issue of flooding, it's a national issue. And we have identified the release of water from the Lagdo Dam as a principal contributor to the annual flooding in Nigeria. And we have suggested here, time without number, that we should be able to construct receptor dams that can receive this water when they overflow. But a more permanent solution had always been the advocacy for the dredging of rivers Niger and Benue, and that it will offer a permanent solution to this our annual problem. And so, Mr. President, I want to commend this Senate to committing to this project, and much more importantly, to urge this present government to write its name in gold by mustering the necessary political will to undertake this project, Mr. President. I so submit, Mr. President.
Deputy Minority Leader may wish to round off the debate.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Olalere Oyewumi. I represent also West Central District. While supporting the bill, I just want to remind the Senate that we have taken so many motions on this issue of flooding, and we have taken resolutions. But when we discuss issues that are very critical like this and very urgent, resolutions are made and no action follows. People at home look at us as if we are not doing anything. My suggestion is that I want us to appeal through this house to Ecology Office and the Office of the SGF, where the issue of this intervention on ecology is domiciled, to kindly treat most of these matters as an urgent matter. We have done a follow-up on most of the issues presented here through the Ecology Office, but because of the pressure of work. But I want to appeal again to those two offices to speed up activities on those interventions that are already pending in their offices, so that we can start at least having amelioration gradually from some parts of the places, in addition to the major one that we have discussed here. As well.
Thank you very much for all your contributions. We'll now go straight to the prayers. Prayer number 1: urge the federal government to revisit the Dasin Hausa Dam project with a view to commencing or resuming the construction of the dam by making budgetary provisions starting with the 2024 federal budget. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Amendment, Senator Mohammed Adam Alero.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this prayer should be amended to read, urge the federal government of Nigeria to construct the Dasin Hausa Dam. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to construct the Dasin Hausa Dam as a permanent solution to the annual flooding of River Benue.
Is Seconda, please? Seconda? Mohammed Anjumogoje, second. May you wish to second? Those in favor of the amendment moved by Senator Alero and seconded by Senator Anjumogoje, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Another amendment? Senator Dixon?
Well, in view of the severity of this national situation, my amendment will be to call the affected ministries to come together under the supervision of our committees to come up with a clear roadmap. The Dasinhausa Dam, that one, they have done studies. That one is not a problem. But additionally, because even when we build...
I think that should come under additional prayers. Let's wait. When we come to additional prayer, then you submit your motion. Yes. You want to amend the amended prayer or additional prayer? You want to amend the one amended by Senator Alero? We'll finish with that. So maybe if you have anything, then you come through additional prayer. Urge the federal government to intervene through the Ecological Fund Office to construct some of the flood prevention structures, such as dikes, embankments, levees, and flood measuring devices at key points along the Benue River in order to protect farmlands, infrastructure, and downstream communities in the Benue Trough. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Amendment.
Prayer is talking about building dikes and so on along River Benue. There are so many other rivers affected.
You can move your amendment, your motion. Can you read your amendment? Can you read it?
I would like to amend this by saying that instead of along River Benue, every other thing is in order. You can order rivers and tributaries.
Sorry, a seconder, please. Senator Karimi. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Karimi Sunday. I represent Kogi West. I want to second the second prayer as amended by my able Senator Dixon.
Those in support of the amendment as moved by Senator Dixon and seconded by Senator Karimi say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer number 3. Call on the federal government through the Inland Waterways Authority to dredge the river Benue from Mukuriti all the way to Lagdo Dam in cooperation with the Republic of Cameroon. Any amendment? Amendment? Okay, I think I should give Agadaga, Senator Agadaga, because you've gotten a chance before. Senator Agadaga.
Mr. President.
Go straight to your amendment. Just put in a motion. In a motion. Any seconder? You couch it for him, couch it very well. Or give him a chance to move the motion.
Yes. Well, this prayer 3 should read, call on the federal government through the, it shouldn't be only inland.
It's good to read the motion straight away so that you have a
sources and inland waterways. They are the two bodies. They are the two major ones that we lead. To dredge the River Benue, River Niger, and other rivers and tributaries. Yes, that's what I want to amend.
Clerk, is it well taken? You understand what he's talking about? Okay, well, I think we attribute the mover should be Agadaga to give him the credit because he mooted the idea ab initio. Then you are the seconder. Is that you're second? Okay, those in favor of the motion as moved by the mover and then seconded by Senator Dixon, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next prayer, explore through the Nigerian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and relevant authorities avenue. This cannot come as a prayer. It can't come as a prayer. I don't mean it. So move for the withdrawal of that.
Distinguished colleagues, I move that the prayer 4 on the order paper should be struck out. I so move.
Seconder, Senator Sass, Shuaib, go ahead. Those in favor of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next prayer, call on the National Emergency Management Authority, NEMA, to, in consultation with the state governments listed, urgently carry out a comprehensive assessment of communities affected by flooding with a view to providing them with relief materials. Those amendment, Senator Mohammed Anjwagoji.
You should read, call on the National Emergency Management Authority, NEMA, to, in consultation with the affected states, urgently carry out a comprehensive assessment of the communities affected by flooding with a view to providing them with relief materials. Affected states.
Seconder, Senator Mama Valero. Seconder, okay.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the amendment proposed by Senator Danjuma Mogoji.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. To this, let me thank Senator Bino's additional prayers. Senator Dixon.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I commend you and our colleagues because the resolutions we have arrived at are sufficient to meet the requirements of the justice of this motion. But because this is a very serious national emergency that keeps coming every year and we need to move forward, we need to have a comprehensive agenda as a country on how to handle this moving forward. My additional prayer is that this Senate should constitute a joint committee made up of water resources, works, the environment, special duties, foreign affairs, and ecology and climate change, so that they can assemble the needed stakeholders to be able to come before the Senate with a comprehensive way forward on a long-term basis. I so move.
Seconder, Senator Adiola.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. I rise to second the motion as moved by Senator Serike Dixon. I so second, Mr. President.
Those in favor of this motion for additional prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Have it. prayer? No. So let me thank Senator Binos Daude Yaro and the co-sponsors of this motion for bringing this matter forward. It has been a recurring occurrence, a recurring decimal over the years. And it has been devastating the areas so mentioned in the motion. And I think the best thing is what to forward so that a lasting solution could be devised to stop the devastation that's brought to bear on the affected communities and the economic loss we are experiencing in these areas year in, year out. And the motion was well debated. That's why the opportunities were given to several speakers to speak because of the importance of all the how the entire scenario is causing serious problem to our people around that area, indeed the entire zone, so that everyone could ventilate on how to deal with this matter. And far-reaching suggestions were put forward. And I think when we implement what is going to come up as a result of what these joint committees will do, a lasting solution will now be able to, we'll be able to have lasting solution to deal with this problem. So thank everyone for your robust contribution to this debate. Thank you. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, the fourth order of the day is a motion standing in the name of distinguished Senator Karimi Sunday Steve on the urgent need to investigate the various turnaround maintenance projects of Nigerian refineries in order to uncover waste and forestall further waste of scarce public resources. Mr. President, you will recall that this motion was debated extensively on Wednesday, 5th July 2023, but the prayers were stood down pending the constitution of committees to enable it be referred to the appropriate committee instead of an ad hoc committee, which the prayers sought to achieve. The purpose of this motion, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, on the order paper is for the Senate to refer it to the appropriate committee. I therefore move that the Senate do refer it accordingly. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Karimi Sunday, you may wish to move your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Karimi Sunday. I represent Kogi West. I brought this motion the last time. I read out the motion, but the wisdom of the leadership then was that we should allow the committee to be constituted before we can debate this motion. I only read it out. It was not debated. So can I read it again, or I just give a paraphrase of the motion, then we can.
Yeah, you can paraphrase, you can abridge you can summarize it, so you wish. I mean, the floor is yours. Do whatever you like with your motion.
Thank you, Mr. President, my colleagues. You will recall that when the president came in, fuel subsidy was removed. And as of today, a liter of petrol.
Well, Senator Karimi, you may wish to read your motion so that we don't go outside our tradition. Normally, you have a motion, you read.
Okay.
Just read and then allow senators to make their contributions.
To investigate the various turnaround maintenance projects of Nigerian refineries in order to uncover waste and foster further waste of scarce public resources. The Senate, aware that the state-owned refineries in Nigeria have been a serious drain pipe of public finance, depriving the citizens of the joy of being an oil-producing nation. Between 2010 to date, Nigeria is estimated to have spent 11.35 trillion naira, excluding other costs in other currencies, which include $592 million, 4,877 068.47 euros, 3,455,656.93 pounds on renovation of refineries, yet our refineries are not working. Also aware that the federal government of Nigeria has spent over 6 trillion naira between 2010 and 2020 on fuel subsidy to Nigerians. And almost twice that same amount on rehabilitating the turnaround maintenance project of refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri, between 2010 and 2022. That despite the moribund state of the 4 refineries, the operating cost of this refinery between 2010 and 2020 is estimated to be 4.8 trillion naira. The refineries are not working. 4.8 trillion naira was spent as operating cost. The refineries are estimated to make cumulative loss of 1.64 trillion within 4 years. Concerned that the federal government of Nigeria has carried out rehabilitation projects in Port Harcourt Refinery Company over a period of 7 years, from 2013 to 2019, at an estimated cost of 12 billion 161 million 237,811.61 only. In addition, on the 18th March of 2021, a rehabilitation contract was executed between NNPC and Port Harcourt Refinery and Technimos SPA at a lump sum of $1 billion, 397 million, and amid global criticism, Phase 2 of this project is expected to be completed in 28 months after the contract. Phase 2 within 24 months and phase 3 within 44 months. Despite this, Port Harcourt refinery remains a drain pipe. It's not working. Going by the projection and representation from NNPC, the renovation works ought to be completed and operational by June 2023, that is this year. Despite that fact, Port Harcourt refinery is not working. Part that in a bid to refertilize the Warri refinery, the federal government has injected huge public fund in refarming Warri refinery and petrochemical company to the tune of 28 billion 209 million 110 0.67.10 between 2014 and 2019. That particularly, around 24 June 2022, the Federal Executive Council awarded maintenance service for quick fix repairs of Warri Refinery to Daewoo Engineering at a cost of $497,328,500. Yet, at the moment, Warri Refinery is not working. This is different from the 2017 contract awarded to Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited for tech plant survey of the Warri Refinery and Kaduna Refinery at a cost of €2,025,032. Disturbed that Kaduna Refinery has, over the past 10 years, got $2,266,248,434 naira, 2 trillion, sorry, 2,266,248,434 in the name of rehabilitation. Yet, the refinery remained unproductive. Nigeria National Petroleum Company, NNPC, approved 741 million renovation deal with Daewoo Engineering to renovate the same Kaduna refinery in February 22. And it is February 2023, just shortly before the end of Buhari.
Senator Karimi, just read your motion.
Worried that if a thorough investigation of the past and current rehabilitation project is not undertaken by the Senate, the cycle of awarding unproductive turnaround maintenance contract will continue, thereby retaining the status quo, where rehabilitation contracts have become conduit pipes for siphoning public funds, while Nigerian citizens continue groaning over high cost of petroleum products due to the moribund situation of the state-owned refinery, even as the world gravitates towards green to clean energy sources. Accordingly resolved that the Senate mandate the Committee on Petroleum Downstream, though it's not included there, I want to amend it. It should include other committees, to investigate all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the state-owned refineries between 2010 and 2023, and ascertain progress on the ongoing works in all refineries to foster waste, corruption, and interrogate Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources on the best approach to commercializing and ensuring profitability of the state-owned refinery, and invite all concerned to explain the nation's preparation for green energy sources in line with the Paris Agreement on climate change. I hereby submit.
Senator Jibrin Issa Ochocho, you second, and then our former chairman of the #1 party in Africa, Senator Adam Oshomole, will be the second senator to make his contribution. Ochocho, you have the floor. Senator Ochocho.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, my very well distinguished colleagues. I am Issa Jibrin, representing Kogi East. Mr. President, I rise...
You have 2 minutes.
I rise to second this very important motion. And in the course of doing that, I will appreciate if you can spare me 1 second to pass my own comments. Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, this motion has brought to the fore the various problems associated with running the governance in Nigeria. Okay? So many contracts are awarded, payments are made, and the contracts are never ever executed. But more worrisome in this particular motion is the fact that between 2010 and 2020, a sum of 4.7 trillion or thereabout was spent as operating cost for running these refineries. Meanwhile, the refineries are moribund. How do you spend money? How do you come up with operating cost, okay, when the project is not functioning, when the refineries are not working? How do you come up with the operating costs? Because operating costs is supposed to be the cost of raw materials, cost of production, and others. How do you come up with operating costs on companies or projects that are moribund? That, to me, calls for questioning. Secondly, going forward, for the current contracts that are being executed, I want to employ the government to be up and running with their project monitoring procedures. I want to believe that project monitoring is a major problem here, okay? Because for you to execute a contract and for payment to be made, there must be a way of ascertaining that that job has been done. There must be certificate of performance of the job done before payments are made. Going forward, the amounts that have been budgeted for expenditures on the 3 refineries in Nigeria now, I want to believe that there is a need to institute very strict project monitoring procedure such that payments are only made for jobs that are completed. And this may involve, okay, external hands, external consultants to also assist in monitoring these projects. Because within the NNPC and other agencies involved in these projects, there are lots of leakages. There are lots of compromises. I want to believe that there is a need for us to involve external consultants to monitor the implementation of these projects going forward. Thank you, Mr. President. And on that note, once again, I support this very important motion. Thank you.
Senator Oshomole.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Deputy Senate President. Let me join to appreciate and commend the courage of my very distinguished brother and neighbor, Senator Karimi, for raising this motion. I believe, sir, that our business with regards to oversight function is to ensure that the Nigerian people get value for money. And it has become a tradition, government after government, ministers of petroleum after ministers of petroleum, and a number of GMDs have come and gone. They always tell us by next month, by next quarter, by end of this year, the refineries will work. The last 2 ministers of petroleum did the same, whether they did it through their minister of state or otherwise. I think in supporting this motion, we'll be doing justice not only to the Nigerian taxpayer, but also to unravel the riddle that we have refineries that worked before
they worked before. As the quality of governance deteriorated and corruption assumed and frightening level, we just find that we hear where contracts are awarded, we hear the day they will be delivered, but at the end of the day, no petrol is produced, which has made us increasingly dependent on imported products, which put more pressure on our foreign exchange. In addition, and more importantly, is that we have huge job opportunities in the refinery sector that have been lost or people employed being kept idle because these refineries are not working. This Senate, under your leadership, will be doing justice to the Nigerian people by causing the forces behind this, NNPC, whoever they are, to account for how much exactly they have paid out and why their promises have not been kept. In matters of this nature, time does not run against the state. Even those who were ministers who have left can be called back to account for the agreement they signed on behalf of Nigeria. It has just become a normal thing for public officers to enter into agreement to make bogus promises that they will not keep, and they are never called upon to account for it. It has been on for years and years and years. He mentioned 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I would say even over the past 20 years. If you put the numbers together, they are more than enough to build several new refineries. And those who are experts in the sector have told us that a refinery can last for as long as you can maintain it. It's like an old 404 vehicle. Once you can maintain the 404, doesn't die. So I think that this will be one of the most patriotic duties this Senate will be performing. If we can use our powers to summon, to investigate, and on the basis of the findings, to encourage the executive to take the appropriate action. More so that this is a new government. We have a new petroleum minister, whether minister as well as minister of state. They must draw a line so that we put an end. So the figure that my brother quoted.
You have 1 minute remaining.
As something that we must take very, very seriously. Not just another motion, not just another investigation, and even the Committee on Petroleum must be obliged to be transparent in the investigation, and in reporting to the Committee of the Whole of the Senate, we must also have opportunity to interrogate whatever findings they have, so that enough of people making the country and asking the victims to tighten their belt, and most people have lost their belt because there's nothing more left. And this is a huge leakage that is creating.
Thank you. Senator Ali Wadada, then Senator Ethan Williams.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, Nasarawa West Senatorial District, Nasarawa State. I will want to commend my brother, Senator Karimi, for moving this motion. And the ripple effect of this motion is multifaceted. In fact, one wouldn't be wrong to say this is the bane of the entire problems, the socio-economic problems we are facing in this country. One, the lack of functionability of our refineries constitutes part of the reasons why we experience the insecurity we are experiencing. Two, the efforts being made or being put in place by various stakeholders in wanting to stabilize the naira against the dollar has got to do with the lack of operations of these refineries. The high level of corruption in the system can also be linked to this. So the importance of this motion as it relates to the prayers cannot be overemphasized. So, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, we are under the breath of renewed hope. Let me say to all of us.
2 seconds.
change our ways. And changing the ways here is a very strong ad hoc committee should be put in place to bring all, like Senator Adams Oshomole said, if we may have to call back the previous chief executives of NNPC to come and account to us for Nigerians to know what really had happened or is happening or shall be happening as far as these issues of refineries are concerned. I so contribute.
Thank you very much. Senator Ethan, you speak, then the Deputy Minority Leader, then Senator Danjuma Goje, Senator Adiola will be the last but not least. Sorry. Just 2 minutes, because a lot of people want to speak. Even Senator Danjuma Goje has indicated interest. Just 2 minutes, and at the end of 2 minutes, you need to stop so that others can speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Ethan Williams. I represent Cross River Central. Mr. President, when you look at these figures, you will weep for Nigeria. You're given a job. At the end of the job, you can't even account for it. And then the supervising agency will pay you for a job you've not done. We call it turnaround maintenance. What are we maintaining? When the refineries are not working, they are not even there for me. I feel this is a disservice to Nigeria and Nigerians. The people that have caused us this economic sabotage, this grievous offense, must account for it. It will be a disservice to Nigerians if we sit down here and allow these people to go scot-free. No, maybe before, but not this Senate.
Thank you, thank you. The Deputy Minority.
Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues. You see, I want to start by supporting other speakers and commending Senator Karibi for bringing forth this all-important motion at this critical time of Nigeria. Sir, if you witness what has been happening, the humongous money that has been spent and no functionality, you will discover that it is as if something is behind all these activities. I'm worried more on what is happening to the private refinery that was officially commissioned before the expiration of the last regime. And the whole world was informed that it will start production in August. That was not the first complaint that Dangote will have. This is ending of October. No drop of oil has also come out of that. There is a cover up somewhere. And that is why this motion is all important. If somebody is mad, the day you become conscious of your madness, the solution is coming gradually. If you look at the mode of the Senate this morning, everybody seems to have jigged up that something is happening beyond the stolen money. It is as if there's a sabotage somewhere, and the earlier we unravel this one, the better for the development of this country. So I want us to take it seriously, put all out on deck, whether in there or in fighting expert, and be transparent. As Senator Oshomole said, we should be transparent in the interest of this country and the future of us and our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senator Mohammed Adam Alero, then Senator Adiola, and then Senator Danjuma Goje, and then Senator Ide will round up the debate for us.
Thank you, Mr. President. My distinguished colleagues, Mohammed Adam Alero is my name. I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, let me start by first and foremost commending my good friend, Senator Karimi, for bringing this very important and sensitive motion. Perhaps this is the most important motion since regime. I listened attentively to all the figures he mentioned. 11 trillion naira from 20 2010 to date. He also said that $592 million has been spent, in addition to 11 trillion naira. There is another 6 trillion naira that is also spent on maintenance of our refineries. Equally important, 4.8 trillion naira has also been spent. And another $492 million has been spent on renovation or turnaround maintenance of our refineries. Mr. President, as he rightly said, despite all this huge and colossal amount of money spent, the refinery remains moribund. Something must be amiss. Something must be wrong. It is our responsibility to investigate and find out what happened to this colossal amount of money that has been spent. The Senate and indeed the National Assembly should come out clear on this. They should conduct thorough investigation, devoid of any sentiments, to unravel what really happened. People are suggesting that there is sabotage. This sabotage is deliberate because they don't want refineries to work simply because they want to be importing petroleum products into Nigeria. This has been happening as far back as 2010. And the importers of petroleum products are in league with the officials of NNPC. They are working in cahoots to frustrate whatever effort the federal government is doing in order to ensure that they continue bringing petroleum products, inflating it. Sometimes they even submit documents without bringing the petroleum product, and they get paid. We did investigation on this, and we found out that over 3 trillion naira was spent on petroleum subsidy.
You have 2 seconds.
An independent committee that will conduct thorough investigation on this. And in doing so, Mr. President, go around and select people that you think can do the job and report back to the leadership. If we do this, believe me, we will be doing a great pride to the Nigerian people by saving the public money.
Thank you. Senator Adiola Solomon, then after you, Senator Anjuma Goji. Oh, did you?
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Let me join other senators in commending Senator Sunday Karimi for this well-researched motion. I use the word well-researched because all the figures that were quoted in this motion shows that a lot must have gone into it before arriving at all these figures. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I am scared. I'm scared in the sense that if all these set figures that were mentioned are to be true, then there is a problem. The total budget size of the federal government every financial year is not more than, the highest we got as at last year was about 21 point something trillion. And between 2010, according to the motion, about 11.35 trillion has been expended only on renovation of the refinery. Aside other currencies ranging from $592 million, 4.877 euro, 3.44 million pounds. All these put together runs into several billions of naira and trillions of naira. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, if you observe, if you look into the books of NNPC, you find out that at no point in time will you find NNPC declaring profits. And it is strategic. And this is where all this money are being put into. I didn't know that these guys that renovation of refineries. And how do we explain to the whole world that we have expended this so much on renovation of our refineries and not for one day as the refinery function? Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, this is a very, very serious issue. And I believe that all that needs to be done to unravel every content of this motion must be, because this figure alone that were mentioned are put into proper use. By now, there's no need for us country. The amount of foreign exchange that will be domiciled in this country as of today, the scarcity we are experiencing in the foreign exchange and everything is only under the disguise of importation of fuel by NNPC. And they are the only sole importer of this fuel now as we speak. Because there is no dollars, there is no letter of credit or so that can be opened at this point in time because of these challenges. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, we need to turn our searchlight to NNPC. As my colleague have also posited, I want a situation whereby we have a very strong ad hoc committee who will do a yeoman job to unravel all this. And also all these figures, we need to verify. If it is true, they must tell Nigerians which of these refineries have they put these figures, and what is the state of these refineries, and many other questions that will be begging for answer when this ad hoc committee start to sit and call them for all the necessary information and data that will help us to form an opinion on way forward for us as a nation regarding our refinery and other sundry issues. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you for abiding by the time. Senator Danjuma Goje, I hope you do the same.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Danjuma Goje, representing Gombe Central. Mr. President, I also stand to join the previous speakers in not only thanking Senator Karemi for bringing this very important motion, but also associate myself with all the very, very important observations and recommendations put forward by the previous speakers. Mr. President, as already said, this issue of refineries is virtually at the bottom of all our crises. Because for some years now, until I think 2 months back also, NNPC has not been remitting anything serious to the Federation account. Why? Because they keep on declaring loss over loss. And because they don't release money, they don't remit money to the Federation account, in fact, we have huge budget deficits, and we keep on borrowing and borrowing. So this issue is at the bottom of our crisis. The issue of scarcity of foreign exchange, today we are buying dollar at more than 1,200, is caused by this problem. This issue is the basis of all our crises. So I associated myself with the view that we need a very strong, independent-minded ad hoc committee that will go deeply into this issue. And if we're lucky, the figures may be even higher than what was said now in this motion. And therefore, once it is stopped, we'll see a difference in this country. But if it's not, which are just being awarded around February this year, just 3 months to the coming of this administration, this contract is still running. They are still chopping the money, and they'll continue chopping the money. So I think the faster, the earlier we do something seriously about it, the better for us.
Thank you. Senator Darlington and then Senator Ida will round up the debate, and then we go to prayers.
Thank you, Mr. President of the Senate and dear colleagues. My name remains Darlington Nwokocha. I speak for the entire Nigeria, but Abia Central in particular. Mr. President, I just want to bring our notice to a particular section of the Constitution that empowers us to carry out all these functions, an actionable word there as well. Because when we talk about investigation and people think or the agencies feel that it's only the Naira and Kobo that will investigate without looking into the personnel as well. But I think the Constitution has made it very, very clear. When we look at 88 and 89, 1C, it says, summon any person in Nigeria, summon any person, whether in service or out of service, any person. And I think if we're carrying out this investigation, we must go and bring all those people that have worked in those agencies, filtered out their funds here and there, took certain policies and decisions that favored them, and bring them back to book, because the constitutions are provided for such. Mr. Senate President, I want to say that in every organization, while you are going for recruitment, there's something they call job description. That will define your role, what you will do, what you will be paid, and things that have to do with that. We need to look into the job description of all those people working in those different areas. To what extent have they been doing the job they are supposed to do, in line with the job description that was earlier given out to them? Today, you will see somebody, he'll be in a particular position, he will never want to leave from that position because of what he's enjoying or one thing or the other. And at the end of the day, the MDs, when they retire, they will just go, and the investigation may now look into within the area of people that are presently serving. But I think that this investigation should go beyond that, to look into the personnel job description, and as well look into the people that served there before now. And when we do that, we'll actually find and get to the root of the problem, because the entire system is fully decayed, and there has been a very faulty foundation over time. We need to look into it and cure it appropriately. Thank you, Mr. Senate President.
Okay, well, Senator Idiat. And then the last but not the least, Senator Wasiu Sani.
The Senate President. My name is Idiat Oluroti Adebule. I represent the good people of Lagos West. There is no better time than now for us to look at this issue of unending turnaround maintenance in our refineries. Looking at the money that has been spent so far, one will wonder what exactly is wrong with our nation. Because there will be no, we should look at it from the point that this year we say we have budgeted this amount of money for the turnaround maintenance for the purpose of bringing out oil for the good of Nigerians. And then that will not be done. And the following year, we'll go ahead and still release the money to them. I try very hard here to put all of these monies together. Dear President, unfortunately, I can't because the money is so humongous. And I want to align myself with all of our colleagues that have called for thorough investigation into this matter. It is important we must do it, not only because of us, but because of Nigerians. Nigerians would like to know what had happened to the monies that have been spent this far. And yet, look at our country today. A lot is being said in our country. And when I mean a lot is being said about this issue of the removal of subsidy. If we had done the right thing at the right time, we'll probably not be here talking about removal of subsidy or not returning it. My colleagues, I therefore support the motion that we should investigate this matter. A good committee should be put in place to do this assignment. I know both the upstream and downstream committee of the Senate, the public accounts, those are the committees I'm suggesting, the public accounts, as well as the appropriation, should look into this matter with a view to providing a solution to this matter so we don't continue endlessly spending money, Nigerians' money, for that matter, for something not productive. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Idiat. The last but not least to speak, Senator Sani Wasiu from Lagos as Senator Idiat. You may wish to speak.
Thank you, the Senate President. I remain Wasiu Sani Eshinlokun, representing
Lagos Central Senatorial District. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. I think the most important thing is that this speaks volume, that one of our major functions in the legislature is this issue of oversight and investigation. Like somebody alluded to, my dear friend Senator Darlington, that we are supported by Section 8889(1)(c) of the Nigerian Constitution. In fact, this is one of the basic differences between the presidential and the parliamentary system of government. We are one arm of government investigates the other, not the one arm of government doing the executive and legislative work. This is a very fundamental issue. The economic woes of Nigeria, 70% can be attributed to this issue. If you do not have enough foreign exchange to support imports, it is because largely we are paying for petrols, NGO, PMS, by the little that we earn, and that rather than put it into judicious use, we need to import fuel rather than us producing in Nigeria. Everybody should support this motion, that we must know those who are responsible for our present predicament. They must be sanctioned, they must be punished, they should not go scot-free. We need to get to the root of this matter. I give my unalloyed support to this motion, and I trust my colleagues who will be saddled with the responsibility of doing this job will do it very well. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very much for abiding by the time. We'll now go to the prayers. Prayer number 1, or A. Yes, prayer 1A. Mandate this Committee on Downstream Petroleum to investigate all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the state-owned refineries between 2010 and 2023. I know there should be an amendment here to be ad hoc committee. Who will move the amendment? Senator Mohamed Goji? Mohamed Goji? Your mic.
Accordingly, resolves to appoint an ad hoc committee to investigate all contracts awarded for the establishment of all the state-owned refineries between 2010 and 2023.
Seconder, Senator Kausumel.
Mr. President, my dear distinguished colleague, I am Suleiman Abraman Kawu Sumaila, representing Kano South Senatorial District. I hereby seconded the amended prayer moved by Senator Muhammad Danjuma Goji. I so seconded.
Those in favor of the There's a motion. We have a mover. Somebody has moved and a seconder. We will now go to voting on the motion. Then right after you can come up with your additional prayer or whatever. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Second prayer. Asserting progress on the ongoing works in all refineries in order to forestall waste and corruption, and interrogate the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the NUPRC, NMPCL, BPE on the best approach to commercializing and or ensuring profitability of the state-owned refineries. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. You came late. The motion has been. You should come by additional prayer. You should come by prayer. Come by prayer. We have taken the vote already. Then C. Invite the NMPCL, NUPRC, and LNG to explain the nation's preparation for green energy sources in line with the Paris Agreement on climate change. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Additional prayer.
I am Senator Samaila Dohokaila Bauchi North. My additional prayer is to amend prayer B because of the word interim.
You can't go back on that. That has been, if you have an additional prayer, as I said, that has been dealt with. We have, gone past that. If you have additional prayer to this, you can't go back. Prayer. Okay, go ahead.
Corruption.
No. You are going back on that. That has been dealt with. If you have additional prayer to what we have done, you can bring that forward. But to go back on what we have done already is not allowed by rules. I'm sorry, we can't help you. Our rules does not allow to go back. So we can. We are done. Next time. Thank you. Yeah. Additional prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President. My additional prayer is that the ad hoc committee should conduct all its investigations together with the downstream authority, because the downstream authority is the one that is responsible for the refineries, and it has not been mentioned in any of this.
Well, you can second. It's a motion. We can't. You can. It's an additional prayer. Nobody can. So, Senator Habib.
Well,
Senator Habib is seconding that motion.
Mr. President, my name is Mustafa Habib, representing Jigawa Southwest. I second the motion as ably moved by distinguished Senator Abdullahi.
It's okay. No problem. You've seconded it already. So those in favor of the additional prayers moved by Senator Abdullahi and seconded by Senator Habib say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So this juncture, let me thank Senator Karimi and all those that made contributions in this debate for doing so, because this matter is something that touches on our country, the economic well-being of our country. It is said that had it been we have these refineries in operation, probably we'll not go through the economic hardship we are going now, because whatever we are having is channeled towards the importation of refined products, and is eating deep into our finances. And there is even the thinking, which may be true, that some people out there are sabotaging the effort of the government to make this refinery operational, because they are the one involved in the importation of refined oil, fuel products, petroleum products. So it's therefore very important that there must be thorough investigation. The investigation must be thorough to make sure that everything that we need to know is brought open to us. Who are those that are sabotaging the effort of government, who are doing this economic sabotage, and anybody who has a hand in relation to sabotaging the effort of government to bring this refinery into operation, and those who have taken monies that are meant to turn around these refineries must be brought to book. We must know them, and decisive action must be taken by the Senate, is the highest assembly in this country, and the entire government. We thought should work together to make sure that we deal with this matter decisively. It's to this end that, we have, in line with the resolution, with one of the prayers, that we should have an ad hoc committee. We have these people, these distinguished senators who are to serve in that ad hoc committee. We have Senator Isa Jibrin Ochocho, who is to serve as the chairman of the committee. And we have the chairman of the Petroleum Downstream Committee of the Senate as a member, the chairman Center on Upstream, chairman of the Committee on Finance, chairman on Committee on Appropriations, chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, and also that of gas. Then we have the following senators who are to work with them. They are also members of the committee: Senator Abdullahi Yahya, Senator Mohammed Enjuma Goje, Senator Ifeanyi Uba, Senator Mohammed Adamu Alero, Senator Kawu Sumaila, Senator Tukumba Abiru, Senator Impigi Barinada, and Senator Sani Musa, and last but not least, Senator Karibi, who is a mover, who brought forward the motion, who is the mover of the motion. So to this end, we thank everyone for your contribution, the robust contribution of this matter, the debate on this matter. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate. Well, you are the chairman of finance, so there's no need to even mention your name. So you are already there. The Senate leader, move for the adjournment of adjournment.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, I rise to move that having concluded all the items on the order paper for today, that the Senate do stand adjourned till Wednesday, the 25th day of October 2023. I so move, Mr. President.
The minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I stand to second the motion ably moved by the Senate leader that the House do adjourn to reconvene on Wednesday, the 25th of October. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion that for adjournment, say aye. Those against, say nay. The Senate stands adjourned. Those in the ayes have it, and the Senate stands adjourned till tomorrow by 11 a.m. Thank you.